The Crimson Tide getting set to kick it away. Jack Jones is going to go back deep as one of the return men. Adoree Jackson will be the other. Jackson along the near side. Jones, who normally wears number 1, wears 83 on special teams because Darius Rogers also is out there, and you can't have two number 1s out there together. The football kicked, and out it goes for a touchback, and Adam Griffith showing some leg to begin the 2016 season. And now our first look at this year's Alabama defense, and for Southern Cal quarterback Max Brown taking over from Cody Kessler, who has been here for 3 years but now graduates and departs.
Well, USC is going to come out with their 3 wide receiver package, and Alabama will adjust and be in their nickel with Minkah Fitzpatrick as the slot corner to open the year.
Justin Davis, man in motion, leaves the empty backfield. Brown swings it out to him. Davis finds a hole. He'll get out across the 30 to the 31-yard line, nearly the 32, so a pickup of 7 on the play. A quick throw out on the move to Justin Davis, who last year had 18 catches for 189 yards. Minkah Fitzpatrick came up to meet him. Now out of the pistol formation, it'll be a 2nd down and 3. Brown gets the snap, fakes the give, looks left, throws towards the wide receiver. Catch made by Darius Rogers as he beats Alabama's DB at the 30-yard line for the first big gainer going over top of Anthony Everett, which is what you talked about, Phil, on the pregame.
Yep, SC's going to play fast at the line of scrimmage. They got the one-on-one matchup. Darius Rogers, a big receiver on the outside.
From the 30, here's the inside give. Justin Davis goes nowhere. Jonathan Allen was there to greet him.
Well, SC's going to try to spread the field to get Alabama loosened up, lighten that box, and then try to run it inside. If not, they'll throw it to the perimeter.
2nd down and 9 now from the 31. Man in motion. They'll give it to him coming across. Looking for running room. Bama comes up, and Stephen Mitchell gets drilled by the Crimson Tide's Marlon Humphrey with support from Ronnie Harrison, who was cheering him on. But Marlon Humphrey came up, went laterally beautifully, and just drilled the living stuffing out of Stephen Mitchell.
Well, textbook tackle by Marlon Humphrey. You don't see corners deliver hits like that.
No.
And Stephen Mitchell will remember that one for a while.
Back to the 35. Here's a 3rd and 12 for the Trojans, heading from our left to our right. Brown looks, hit from behind, gets the football off to the tight end, McNamara. He'll hang on as he gets to the 31-yard line. Not much of a gain, gets about 4 yards back. Ryan Anderson came in and really leveled the boom on Max Brown, who did a good job getting the ball away.
Well, Alabama gave up the big play over the top, and that's what put SC into the high red zone, and now Matt Bormeister will come on to try a field goal here. Looks like they're going to spot this one, Eli, around 47 yards away.
Right, it'll be a 47-yard try for Matt Bormeister. Off the near hash mark. Zach Smith will snap it. Wyatt Schmidt will hold it. Kick is off the mark. It goes off the crossbar and in. Oh, my goodness. It caught the upright on the crossbar and then caroms in. It looked poor as it took off, but sometimes you got to get the breaks, and the Trojans did right there.
Well, he got just enough on it, and it almost hit at the L there of the crossbar and the upright, and it caromed over the crossbar, and the Trojans draw first blood.
So a 47-yard field goal. Southern Cal is on top, 3-0 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome back to Arlington. The kickoff goes to Trayvon Diggs for Alabama, and he'll bring the football out to the 25-yard line, and that's where the Crimson Tide will start. That 47-yard scoring kick by Matt Bormeister, that is the first score of the season, and it is going to be the Brombergs' first score of the day. Fromberg's forever mark. Scoring drive. Now Bama from their own 30 and a 1st and 10. There's the give, near side, around on the end around. Ardarius Stewart got the handoff from Barnett, who we told you was going to be the starting quarterback. And that's going to be a nice first down pickup for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Their first down of the ball game, being brought to you as always by our friends at A-Tix. Let A-Tix be your ticket connection to all of the Alabama football games. A-Tix is the ticket. Now from the 40-yard line, here's a 1st and 10. With a man in motion, they fake the inside give, and a throw to Ridley in the right flat is dropped. Incomplete at the 37-yard line. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
Well, Eli, Alabama opened up with 2 tight ends on the field, and it was Miller Forrestall that was out there with O.J. Howard. They're using him as an athletic component to pair off with O.J. Howard, and that time the run-pass option for Blake Barnett. He just threw it errantly low and away.
Now on a 2nd down and 10. Alabama trying to find running room on the inside, but it's stuffed as Damian Harris was rung up very quickly by Cameron Smith, the inside linebacker. Nobody fooled on that one.
Well, Alabama's showing a dose of the zone read look, where the quarterback puts it in the belly of the runner, and then he has the option to give it, keep it, or throw it. It's almost like a triple option, except from the shotgun.
3rd and 9 with 11:29 remaining in the opening quarter. Southern Cal leads 3-0. Barnett comes up. He will audible to the offensive lineman, yells something to his running back. Snap a little bit high, no problem. Barnett under pressure, going down. And that's something we had also talked about on the pregame with Alabama's middle. Cotton, Bozeman, Pierce Baker, and the freshman Jonah Williams. Michael Hutchings came up the middle with a friend, Porter Gustin. Nobody could touch them.
Yeah, it was a fire zone look with Hutchings coming up the inside and the defensive end, Nwosa, dropping off into coverage, and Alabama forced to punt here.
Adoree Jackson is the deep man, standing back at his own 20-yard line. First punt of the year for J.K. Scott. Cole Mazza does the long snaps for Alabama. J.K. gets it away. Jackson floats to his left, makes the grab over the shoulder at the 19-yard line, and that's where Southern Cal will be starting 1st and 10. A 52-yard punt, no return, and we have timeout on the field. Timeout. Southern Cal leads by a score of 3-0 early here in Arlington on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. 2 wides right, 1 left. The give right up the middle. Off right tackle Justin Davis across the 20 to the 22-yard line. He'll pick up 3 on the play. Vioni Talamaivao, he and Zach Banner blocking on the right side of the Southern Cal line.
Well, that's Deron Payne, 2-gapping right at the point of attack. He stood up his opponent, and the Alabama defense able to converge on the football.
2nd down and 7. Running back Davis motions to the near side of the formation. Brown signals, gets the snap, looks left, throws it high, caught one-handed by Taylor McNamara, the tight end, and then out of bounds he goes at the 26-yard line. So the play picks up 4. It'll be a 3rd down and 4, upcoming maybe 3.5. Southern Cal, nothing of 1 in 3rd down conversions thus far here tonight.
Yeah, McNamara is a graduate transfer from Oklahoma. He actually caught a pass in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama several years back, but he's a solid option for them as a blocker and receiver.
He had all games in which he played for Southern Cal last year. Also played, as we said, 3 years at Oklahoma, and there's motion. But first, a timeout being taken by Southern Cal. The play clock was down to 5 seconds.
First charge timeout, USC.
So the first charged timeout
will be a 30-second timeout
from referee Reggie Smith out of the Big 12. So they want to talk things over. Of course, the southern part of Southern Cal has really been reinstituted by head coach Clay Helton. He's got guys who have been around. Neil Callaway is from the South. One of the offensive line coaches, T. Martin from the University of Tennessee. He's there. Tyson Helton, his brother, who was down at the University of Houston, and they have lots of experience. They have brought the Southern back into Southern Cal, it seems.
No doubt about it. And here they are at 3rd and 3, and Max Brown in the shotgun. This is a run-pass situation. They can go either way here based on what Alabama gives them.
9:21 remaining in the first. Here's the slant and the throw complete to Stephen Mitchell, who'll pick up the first down at the 33-yard line. Bama had decent coverage, but that's one of those very high percentage passes. If thrown well, you're not going to stop it.
Yeah, Stephen Mitchell aligned in the slot, got inside position there on Minkah Fitzpatrick, and moves the sticks for USC.
So now with 9 minutes remaining in the opening quarter, Southern Cal leads 3-0. He's the man in motion now. 1st and 10 from their 32-yard line. Whistles before the snap. Somebody moved. There'll be procedure against Southern Cal, so a mark off on their first penalty.
Full start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
And Eli, what's happening here? Max Brown looks at the two safeties. If both safeties are back, then he checks and they give the ball on a run because you have a lighter box. Once the safeties move, if one tries to get closer to the line of scrimmage, that's when he's looking to throw the one-on-ones to the perimeter.
1st and 15. 8:45 remaining opening quarter. Here's the snap. Brown looks far side. Catch is made. Looking for running room is Rogers. He'll get collapsed upon at the 35, make it the 36-yard line. So they'll pick up some of that yardage, but not all of it after the penalty that packed on the extra 5. Anthony Everett was there on the coverage for Alabama that time. He closed nicely on Darius Rogers. Now a 2nd down and 6. On the far hash mark. The inside give. Bama sniffs that one out totally. Justin Davis was met by Sean Dion Hamilton and Tomlinson seemingly before he even got the handoff from the quarterback Brown. Play loses yardage back inside the 35 to the 33.
Well, this is the situation Alabama wants to be in, where they win on 1st and 2nd down and force 3rd and long situations. This is where Tim Williams and Jonathan Allen, this pass rush for Alabama, can crank up, and they can play coverage in the back with some safety help over the top.
Southern Cal 1 of 2 and 3rd downs today. Here's the 3rd and 10. Quarterback under pressure, steps up. He's got running room. He's got a first down. He's to the 50, and he'll slide to safety. Comes up, pumping his arm wildly. Of course, he's excited. First time he's had a chance to play over the years after coming out of high school as the National High School Player of the Year. First down run for Max Brown. Now from midfield, Southern Cal going left to right. Bama's defense tightens. Brown has time, looks long, near side, bumping, running, and there's going to be a flag on Alabama. Juju Smith-Schuster was hit by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah didn't look back for the football, and that, as much as anything, cost him.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
That was a seam pass, not on the sideline, but on the inside part of the field. And Minkah just didn't look back. The ball was a bit underthrown, and as Smith-Schuster tried to fight back for it, he could not get through the body of Minkah Fitzpatrick.
So the snap now upcoming from the Bama 35-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 10 from there. Southern Cal on top 3-0. Ware and Davis are the two running backs, with Davis blocking. Ware gets the handoff, and he'll fight his way to the 35. That's the original line of scrimmage. No gain. Dalvin Tomlinson was there to stack things up quickly for the Bama D.
Yeah, they tried to start outside on a perimeter sweep, and then he took the ball back to the interior, and there was nothing doing there. Alabama's defensive line doing a nice job right now controlling the action at the line of scrimmage. 8th
play of the drive. Here now with men in motion. Brown looks. He's flushed. He rolls right. He throws that one away. It'll be upcoming now with another snap as Tim Williams put the pressure on the quarterback. It'll be a 3rd and 10 now for Southern Cal. Good pressure, and again, Brown is not the most mobile or nimble despite that run a short while ago. Trojans 2 of 3 in 3rd down conversion.
Bama not really honoring him as a runner, so there was nobody home. They played a man under defense. It opened up like the parting of the Red Seas, and this time the Trojan got through there for the first down.
Daquan Hampton checks in now as an extra wide receiver for Southern Cal. into the shotgun. The snap. Brown picks it up, throws far side. Catch made near the perimeter by Deontay Burnett, but Bama was right there, forcing him out of bounds with good coverage on the play. So they got it to Burnett quickly, but the Crimson Tide alert to that, and a great job on the coverage by the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, decision time here for Clay Helton. This football now placed at the 33-yard line or so, so about a 50-yard, 51-yard field goal or a try for it. They're going to keep the offense on the field at 4th and 7.
They're going to try it right here. Brown is in the shotgun. Receivers moving. And here comes Alabama with pressure. And down goes the quarterback, and the Crimson Tide will take over on downs. Great effort by Ryan Anderson to come in out of his Sam linebacker spot. And again, Brown had no protection, had nowhere to go, nor the ability to run out of the way. And we talked about him earlier today. Ryan Anderson did, and he came up large.
Well, that's that little tap pass that was made famous by West Virginia. Bo Scarborough, the lead blocker on that particular play.
Now with a single setback, here's the give. Trying to find running room is Scarborough, but Bo just gets across the 40 to the 41-yard line. He'll pick up a handful, but it's still going to be 3rd and 5 upcoming. Bama, nothing of one in third down conversions today. Damian Harris will check into the lineup. Bo Scarborough takes a seat. 5:24 remaining opening quarter.
Well, this could be a real confidence booster. You got to get one of those third downs on your pelt.
Stewart and Dieter go wide to the right side, one wide out to the near side. They show blitz. Everybody comes calling. The out throw near side, diving catch made, but then O.J. Howard can't get any farther, and that's going to do it right there. They'll say as he went for it, couldn't quite hang on. Yep. So the Crimson Tide will drop it again on a punt. The first one was a 50-yarder by J.K. Scott. And he'll try another one to Adoree Jackson, who is a wide receiver, a defensive back, and a kick returner. Does it all for Southern Cal.
Two-time Pac-12 long jump champion. Of course, he tried out for the U.S. Olympic team, did not make it in the trials, and now all of his focus on football.
J.K. booms this one away. A high punt. Adoree lets it go, and it does take a roll sideways and out of bounds at the 2. It'll be a 54-yard punt for J.K. Scott.
And keep him in place, set up some field position for the offense.
Ronald Jones, the running back behind Brown. Jones broke Charles White's freshman rushing record. Here's the handoff to Jones, and he'll go over the left side, pick up 1.5 yards out to about the 3.5, maybe the 4-yard line. Well, they're trying to get out from that shadow of the proverbial shadow of the goalpost.
Well, it's a crimson wall when you've got guys like Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen and Dalvin Tomlinson playing with the technique that they utilize up front for Alabama.
Anthony Jennings out there for the Tide defensively. Here now on the 2nd down and 8. Brown in the back of the end zone. Rolls right, looks, throws that one away over everybody's head along the near side, incomplete. Good coverage by the Tide secondary that time, totally smothering everyone. Daniel Imatobebe was the intended receiver, the redshirt freshman from Sewanee, Georgia. Now the Trojans 2 of 4 in third down conversions, looking at a 3rd down and 8 from their own 3-yard line. Ronald Jones, the running back, lined up to the right of his quarterback. 2 wideouts left, and Juju Smith-Schuster wide to the right. Brown quickly comes up to the line. He will audible. Play clock at 3, 2, 1. They get the snap away. On the handoff, it was nearly a broken play, and Ronald Jones is smothered by Tim Williams and Dalvin Tomlinson. Man, that handoff was almost missed the player. He almost handed off behind him.
Well, they were taking instructions from the sideline. The play was late getting in, and Max Brown went one direction. Ronald Jones went the other. They were very lucky there that was not a missed exchange.
Now Calvin Ridley deep to field the punt from Chris Tilby. He is an Australian from Melbourne, standing on the end line of the end zone, waiting for the snap from Zach Smith. The blocking wall is 3 wide in front of him. Now a flag on the play. And a delay of game being called.
Delay of game. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. It's 4th down.
Of course, half the distance to the goal is about 1.5 inches.
Well, actually, it's about 1.5 yards there.
Yeah.
And so now it's only 11 yards from the snap to the back of the end zone. I'm sure Chris Tilby didn't practice much from his own shadow of his goalpost. No. And they don't have a clock in Australian rules football in terms of a play clock. So they let it run down.
He was an Australian rules football star and a cricket star in his native Melbourne, Australia. The snap and the kick. It is not particularly long. It angles, though, to the far side. Ridley plays it on the bounce. He's to the 45. Tries to come near side, stops. He comes back the other way, gets across the midfield marker, and is down at the 48-yard line as we check in with our Cook's Pest Control sideline reporter, Chris Stewart.
Eli, while Alabama's defense was on the field, Jalen Hurts was throwing a few passes, getting loose. He's got the helmet on. We'll see if indeed the true freshman from Channelview, Texas, will take his first snaps, and it looks like he will for the Crimson Tide.
Jalen Hurts, an early enrollee, another dual-threat quarterback, a pro-style guy. He can really make things happen, and here he comes. Jalen Hurts.
Well, I'm assuming this was the script, the plan, to give Blake Barnett several series, and then Jalen Hurts would get his opportunity because Nick Saban said they had a predetermined plan for the quarterbacks.
We've got 2:44 remaining in the opening quarter. Southern Cal leads 3-0. Harris is behind his quarterback, and now timeout, the second for USC.
USC calls their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Let's talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts. Statistically, as a high school senior, he passed for 2,384 yards and 26 touchdowns. He ran for 1,391 more yards and another 25 touchdowns. Everybody recruited him. Almost went to Texas A&M, looked at Mississippi State, Florida, opted for Alabama.
Well, he's really explosive in terms of his arm talent and his legs, and I think that dual threat ability is what makes him such an attractive option for Lane Kiffin and the offensive coaches. But this will be his first dose of major college football. It's on the plus side of 50, so he's got some field position to play with here.
He's 6'2", they say. 209 pounds. How well does he see over the big guys? Let's find out. Hurts, shotgun. Tries to hand it off, lost it, overruns it, fumble, Southern Cal recovers. It'll be Cameron Smith, the inside linebacker, who comes up with it after a botched handoff. Then he tried to pick it up, the quarterback did. He overran it, and Smith picks it up for the Trojans.
Well, that's exactly why Alabama didn't start Jalen Hurts, because they were fearful of a true freshman getting on this kind of stage and making that kind of error. This isn't high school football. You got to get on that football and cover it up. He tried to pick it up and run with it after the missed exchange with Damian Harris.
So Cameron Smith recovers it for the Trojans, and USC will start on the inches across the 50-yard line at the Alabama 49 3/4. Ronald Jones is the running back. He's behind Brown, who will audible. 2:37 remaining in the opening quarter. 3-0 Trojans, and now they'll take their third and final timeout.
USC calls their final timeout of the half. It'll be a full timeout.
So they're going to talk things over right here with 2:37 remaining in the opening quarter, and you got to wonder now what the lingering feel is for Jalen Hurts. Comes in, much ballyhooed. The guy's got talent, folks. Don't judge him on one play, obviously. But that doesn't do a ton for the confidence.
No, it doesn't. Of course, the good news is SC has used all three of their timeouts. Now they have none remaining. The bad news is the fact that Alabama plays this complementary brand of football. J.K. Scott punts USC into trouble. Bama gets the field position and then turn the ball right back over to the Trojans here on the plus side of the 50.
Here come the Trojans and the Tide, but we've got a full timeout going right now. Ronald Jones is going to be the running back. We talked before about him breaking Charles White's freshman rushing record. 987 yards and 8 touchdowns. Also caught 7 passes for 39 yards and a touchdown. Another speedy guy. He runs the 400-meter relays for USC's sprint team.
Well, this is an offense that's full of athletes, and we've seen a demonstration of it already in this first quarter.
McNamara and Petit are the 2 tight ends. They block on the right side as Jones runs into Ryan Anderson and Anthony Jennings. Jennings, a redshirt freshman from Dadeville, Alabama. A medium school All-America.
Adoree Jackson checks in the game, Eli. Of course, he's a gadget type of consideration here. Alabama has a plan and knows when he's on the field. Had 27 catches a year ago.
2nd down and 8. Empty backfield. Quarterback Brown gets the snap. Calls his own number. Shouldn't have done that. Dalvin Tomlinson and all of his buddies came calling. Jonathan Allen, the first guy to get there. Tomlinson seconds later, and they put Brown down. And that's, again, we talked about it, Brown not having the speed.
Well, a huge error by USC. They actually turned their protection to the right and left Jonathan Allen unblocked, one of the best defensive linemen in America. And he comes off the edge unabated to the quarterback. Easy sack for number 93.
A minute 32 to go. Opening quarter, 3-0 Southern Cal. They are 2 of 5 in 3rd down conversions. Here's the 3rd and 13. Brown looks, throws a one-hopper into the left flat. It is obviously incomplete.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. Number 25 was in the area.
Looking for Ronald Jones or Darius Rogers, and he just unloaded the football. So now the second punt of the day for Chris Tilby. Had a 53-yard punt earlier that Ridley returned for a few yards. And Calvin goes back again.
A terrific job by Ryan Anderson. He read that screen out on Ronald Jones, and Max Brown just simply throws the football away.
The blocking wall 3 wide ahead of Tilby. The Australian boots this one away. Ridley watching it bounce. It'll take a Southern Cal roll inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. And that is where the Crimson Tide will start. 1st and 10, a 42-yard punt and no return.
Well, an inauspicious start for Jalen Hurts, but he is with Lane Kiffin getting the play, and it looks like he'll go back onto the field here. And this time he's backed up in his own end. Alabama put it in motion at their own 10-yard line.
And again, the coaches have seen so much from Hurts. All of us who've gone to practice have seen him. The guy's got a ton of talent. One play does not a season make or a career. Bo Scarborough is the running back. Here's a 1st and 10 Alabama. Snapping it from their own 9-yard line, going right to left. Man in motion, Ridley. He'll get the football. Nearly lost his footing. It does slow him down, and they take the corner away. Leon McQuay comes up and does a nice job sealing the perimeter. Almost looked like Ridley got a cleat caught for a second. A little stumble there, but he continued on, but could not do anything, even though he tried to stiff-arm McQuay.
Well, Bama's had that tap pass as part of the game plan here, trying to stretch this SC defense, but the Trojans can run, and they've covered the field nicely from a lateral standpoint.
2nd down and 11. Bama from their own 9. Hurts on the inside handoff. Very little there. Bama gets across to the 11. Stevie Tui Kolovatu was in to make the tackle and the stop on Alabama's Bo Scarborough.
Well, this was a defensive front, only had one starter to come back from a year ago, and Tui Kolovatu was a graduate transfer from Utah. They were very excited about what he had shown in training camp, and that time you could see the reason why.
This is
the end of the first quarter. The end of the first quarter, as you hear from referee Reggie Smith. So we'll flop the field and we'll take a timeout after one period here in Arlington, Texas. It is Southern Cal 3, Alabama no score here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Crimson Tide Sports Network on the air. Arlington, Texas, Eli Gold, Phil Savage, Chris Stewart. Here's a 3rd and 9 for the Tide now with Damian Harrison at the running back spot. Tight ends go to the left side. Here comes rolling out as Jalen Hurts. Looks for running room. Tries to cut inside of a couple of defenders and cannot. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more. And the Tide now will need to punt from deep in their own territory. 2 punts already today. Both have been very good by J.K. Scott. This time, though, will be punting out of his own end zone to Adoree Jackson.
Yep, Alabama on the first play of the game picked up a first down. Since that time, in essence, 3 and outs on successive possessions plus a fumble mixed in. This offense really struggling right now against the SC defense.
Here's the punt. A booming kick. Jackson says fair catch. He'll make it over the right shoulder at the 41-yard line, and that's where Southern Cal will be starting. 1st and 10 as we just now begin the second quarter with that 46-yard punt by J.K. Scott. How much of a first game kind of look has this thing had?
Well, so far, it's had all of a first game.
I say that rhetorically, yeah.
But both teams sort of coming out, feeling each other out to a degree. SC took some shots early. They got a pass interference and a connection to Darius Rogers, and now they've controlled the field position, though. They start it here at their own 41.
1st and 10. Single setback in the pistol formation. Hand off to Justin Davis. He'll come to the near side and gets blindsided off the left after a pickup of 1.5 yards by Reuben Foster. Bama's defense is good, man. It is really good. And the speed there between he and Ronnie Harrison coming up, it's almost unfair.
Well, they're so fast laterally and athletic. This is the most athletic defense that Nick Saban's fielded in 10 years.
On a 2nd down and 8 play. Again, a play action this time by Brown. Here comes pressure. Jonathan Allen put him away. Deron Payne was the first man there, got him off balance, and Jonathan Allen, who last year had 11 sacks, records Alabama's 3rd of this ball game. Nice loss right there, all the way back to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Jonathan Allen beat Chris Brown on the inside. A moment ago, a series ago, he came from the outside unblocked. This time from the inside, just whipped Chris Brown for the sack.
Now a 3rd and 17 from their own 35. Inside handoff, nothing. Justin Davis, before he even got going, was grabbed by Reuben Foster. Man, he came up. Tim Williams was there supporting him, but Foster just shot the gap, and there was nowhere for the runner to go.
Well, Reuben played last year around 235 pounds. He's down around 227, and the practice that I attended, he looked quick as a cat, and he showed at that time.
And he peeled off Chris Brown that time. Brown was there setting up, but couldn't quite hang on to him. So now the punch. Chris Tilby, the Australian, with pressure, gets that one away. And as often happens to an Australian kicker, they are not good-looking punts, but they get down the field spinning, and that one goes out of bounds inside the 25 at the 24. It'll be a 39-yard punt and no return. So Bama will start from the 24 when we return.
1st and 2nd down to give these quarterbacks a better opportunity on that conversion down, which is always, of course, the 3rd down situation.
After Blake Barnett started, Jalen Hurts in for his 3rd series, gets the snap, holds in, looks on long, throws, it's off the mark as Ridley was going for it, but over the top of his shoulder. A nice play by Adoree Jackson to knock that one away. It was thrown well by Hurts, but Jackson, who has great closing ability, was there to just reach over Calvin Ridley. But there was good protection that time for Hurts. Let's give a credit there to the offensive line.
Well, I tell you, there's very few defenders that can run stride for stride with Calvin Ridley, but Adoree Jackson is one of them. He's a legit track man for the Trojans.
2nd and 10, Bama from their own 25-yard line. Mid-stages, second quarter. They fake the give, and now the handoff going to Damian Harris. But Noah Jefferson, the defensive tackle, stayed home, was not fooled one iota. And that play goes nowhere. Might even have lost an inch or two. It'll be 3rd down and 10.5 upcoming for the Tide.
Yeah, Noah Jefferson with the penetration for USC, and really nowhere for Damian Harris to go.
If you remember the name Ben Jefferson, his dad was a lineman for the Browns, the Raiders, the Colts. He's got good football, big man genes right there. Here now is a 3rd down and 10.5 for Bama. 11:36 remaining until halftime. Southern Cal leading 3-0. Motion O.J. Howard to the left side of the formation. Hurts will roll to his left. He'll look downfield, throw the out route. Catch is made, complete at the 35-yard line for the first down. Calvin Ridley right there got his feet down, and Bama will move the chains right there.
Well, Alabama in that 3rd down situation decided to move the pocket. They got Hurts out on the boundary. He throws a strike, and Alabama picks up a first down.
Now Bama hurrying up the offense. Pistol formation. Hurts fakes the give, keeps it himself, dances around a defender, cuts to the near side. He's to the 40, turns the right side corner. That's what he can do, and steps out of bounds at the 43-yard line. So a nice pickup that time of 8 yards on the play, when again seemingly very little was there. Boy, did he ever dance around the defender and make him look foolish at the very outset, Porter Gustin.
Well, that's the RPO. That's a college football play.
Yep.
It's a run-pass option. Hurts can give it, keep it, or then throw it, and that time he ran it after he pump faked Porter Gustin out of his socks.
Robert Foster and Ardarius Stewart are wide left. Here now out of the pistol formation. Stewart in motion. The give. Harris, Damian up the middle, gets 5 to the 50-yard line. Ross Piercebaker and Bradley Bozeman crossed in their blocking formation and opened up a nice hole for Damian Harris.
Well, they got movement at the point of attack, and finally Damian Harris gets some room to pick up the first down.
Again, 2 wides left. Man in motion once more. Give again. Damian Harris up the middle. He'll get 3 more. It'll be a stop by the middle inside linebacker. They kind of rotate Michael Hutchings there. Stevie Tui Kobolatu with a helmet issue being talked to by the officials.
Yeah, his helmet popped off, and he's got to leave the field here.
He was protesting.
There was an earthquake this morning here,
yes.
5.6, and he goes off at 320 pounds, and you can feel the ground shake up here.
Here's a 2nd and 5 for Alabama. 9:54 remaining. Opening half, 3-0 Southern Cal. Bo Scarborough in the backfield. Bama snapping it from the 47. Hurts looks, rolls right under pressure. He'll throw this one away, incomplete onto the Alabama players bench. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 5.5.
Well, that was
good thinking there by the young man.
Yeah, that was good. That was going to be a play-action fake, and there was a post-corner post for Calvin Ridley. So a very slow-developing play. The protection breaks down, and he wisely throws it out of bounds to now put Alabama in this 3rd and 6 situation.
The freshman right tackle, Jonah Williams, did a good job picking up the blitz of a linebacker. Bama 1 of 4 in 3rd down conversions. Here's the 3rd and 5.5 play. Hurts, waits, looks. Dieter, grab is made, and there's no interference call. Dieter wanted one, but Uchenna Nuwasa, the inside linebacker, there to knock it away, and the Crimson Tide will have to punt it once more. It'll be the 3rd punt of the evening for J.K. Stott. He's averaging 50.5 yards per punt.
Well, the positives for that drive is that's a glimpse of what this offense is going to be with Jalen Hurts. It's a run-pass, dual-threat situation, and he gave us a glimpse of that on that particular drive.
Adoree Jackson back at his own 10-yard line to field the punt from J.K. Cole Mazza snaps it, and the booming kick. Fair catch, says Jackson. He'll make it rolling and falling down at the 14-yard line. So that's where Southern Cal will go to work. Here's Southern Cal now, 1st and 10. They'll start from their own 14-yard line. Max Brown, the quarterback, out of the shotgun, rolls back to the 5, looks to the right side and throws that one out of bounds. Good coverage by Alabama's Marlon Humphrey. Juju Smith-Schuster, the intended receiver. Max Brown now 8 of 12 on the afternoon or evening, 68 yards.
Yeah, and that's what he had done coming into this game last year, 8 for 12. But that was a designed out and up, and Marlon Humphrey didn't take the bait, ran stride for stride with Smith-Schuster.
Now a 2nd down and 10. Snapping it, the center, Toa Lobendon, is from his own 14. Low snap, picked up by Brown, throws it away to the Alabama sideline as he had pressure coming and good coverage by the Tide. Nicely done. Eddie Jackson was near the intended receiver, and it was just thrown away. So now a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah,
Trojans 2 of 6 in 3rd down still.
Max Brown thought it was a fade. Darius Rogers thought it was a stop. So a miscommunication there between those two, and now Alabama looking at another 3rd and long situation from the defensive perspective.
And here's where Ryan Anderson and Tim Williams can maybe stir things up a bit. Brown on the 3rd and 10s. Gets the ball at his own 10-yard line. Stands in, looks right. Knocked away by Alabama. Minka Fitzpatrick, part of the double coverage on the intended receiver over in the right flat, and they just knocked it away neatly. They were looking for Juju Smith-Schuster, and he was blanketed by 2 Tide defenders.
Yeah, and Alabama playing their nickel defense tonight, or their dime defense package that time. Deshaun Hand and Dalvin Tomlinson, the only 2 interior defensive linemen on the field, and Bama had 3 linebackers and 6 defensive backs. That is a unit they call Rabbits, and those guys can run.
Chris Tilby to punt. 3 punts tonight, averaging 47 yards per. We have 9 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. Alabama trailing 3-0 on a Matt Bormeister 47-yard field goal for the Trojans. The Tide's Calvin Ridley standing back at the 45, comes to the near side. The ball takes a bounce and then a bit of an Alabama roll before kicking out of bounds closer to the 50-yard line. It'll be at the Tide's own 49. So good field position. That's one of the byproducts, the negative byproducts of some of those kicks. They have such weird spins on them. They try to go end under end, doesn't always work, and it ends up, in that case, a 34-yard punt from scrimmage. But now the officials are talking things over. There is a flag on the play, which came away from the action. The flag sitting at the 36.
After the play, personal foul, face mask, kicking team, number 6. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. 1st down. Timeout.
So Michael Pittman, an early enrollee, picks up the penalty. 3 now for the Trojans, a loss of 21 yards. Bama will have great field position when play resumes. 9:02 to go until halftime. 3-0 Southern Cal.
Well, 1st downs have been tough to get for Alabama, and SC gave them a free one on the front of this drive with that face mask 15-yard penalty.
The freshman B.J. Emmons in at running back. He'll line up to the left of Jalen Hurts. Ridley is in motion. Handoff to Emmons, and they catch him coming off the corner. That was Nadori Jackson who came blitzing in off the edge, and he got to Emmons before he could even get going. It'll be no gain, but no loss. It'll be a 2nd down and 10.
Well, Bama's been doing some unbalanced formations, and when the wide receiver motions back to the wide side of the field, they brought Adoree Jackson off the corner there unblocked, and he greeted B.J. Emmons and welcomed him to big-time college football.
Bo Scarborough back in the lineup now. Bozeman snaps it. Quarterback Jalen Hurts rolls left, throws to O.J. Howard, makes the catch off his shoulder on what was not a particularly well-thrown football. And as he had to look away to catch it, it allowed Stephen Mitchell to close in and make the stop.
Well, Alabama in what they call that high red zone situation, nothing doing on 1st and 2nd down, and here you are, 3rd and 13. And look for SC. They can play coverage, drop off, or they can dial up the heat and try to knock Alabama back a little further.
And I said Stephen Mitchell. It was Marvin Tell who made the tackle. Now here comes Jalen Hurts. He'll load up, look into the end zone. Ardarius Stewart, long throw. He's got it. Touchdown, Alabama. Jalen Hurts, 39 yards to Ardarius Stewart. What a play! And the Crimson Tide taking the lead.
Well, USC, 3rd and 13. I just said they can play coverage. They did that, and Chris Hawkins, the safety, was late getting over the top. They lost Ardarius Stewart. He got way behind the SC defense, and Jalen Hurts launches his first Alabama touchdown into the night air of AT&T Stadium.
Now Adam Griffith, who was perfect on all 63 extra points a season ago. Cole Mazza snaps it, Cooper Bateman holds it, and the kick is up and good, and the Alabama Crimson Tide will take a 7-3 lead. Very impressive right there. 3 plays on the Bromberg's forevermark scoring drive. 3 plays, 36 yards. Very impressive for the Crimson Tide. Chris Stewart, let's check in with you on the sidelines.
Eli, on the touchdown throw, Ardarius Stewart got shoved out of bounds while running his route. The official in front of me around the 15-yard line threw his cap down, signaling that the receiver had been forced from the field of play. That's why he was able to come back in, make the grab, and give Alabama its first lead.
That was a 1 minute and 16-second Bromberg's forevermark scoring drive. And the Crimson Tide take the lead. Ardarius Stewart coming up large, but a nice throw from Jalen Hurts.
Well,
that was
that's
a beauty.
what Hurts gives you, the mobility to escape and get outside, and then the arm strength to launch it over the top of the SC defense. But I tell you, the Trojans fell asleep at the wheel right there on 3rd and 13. You cannot let the ball get over your head. Clancy Pendergast, the defensive coordinator, is going to have a fit over on the SC sideline.
Adoree Jackson and Jack Jones are deep, and like he did the first time, Adam Griffith kicks this one through the end zone for another touchback. So the Crimson Tide fans out there, guys, breathe a little bit.
Well, it took a quarter and a half, and Alabama will take it any way they can get it right now with any kind of production on offense, and it comes with an explosive play. And Ardarius Stewart, who's oftentimes the overlooked receiver because of all the attention Calvin Ridley gets, but Ardarius Stewart can absolutely play himself.
All right, 1st and 10 now, Southern Cal, starting after the touchback from their own 25. Here's Brown, looks to the right side, finds the man coming out of the backfield. That was Ronald Jones. He'll make the grab, but gets only a little bit out across the 25 to the 25.5. Reuben Foster makes him pay the price right there. Good Lord, can he ever hit, huh?
Oh, he is so explosive as a tackler, and you know, he lost that weight. He's quickened up. He's increased his speed. And to have a linebacker that can run and hit like that in the center of your defense is a huge advantage for the Tide.
He has 4 tackles tonight, 1 for a loss. Here now, Brown on the 2nd down and 8. Hands off to the running back who tries to wind his way through the Alabama defense. Cedric Ware does pick up a couple, maybe 3, but it's still going to be a 3rd and long upcoming, 3rd and about 6. For Southern Cal in their own territory. They'll be snapping the football at their own 29.5-yard line.
Well, they had more manageable 3rd down situations in the early going, but since that time, they played behind the sticks for much of the last 15, 20 minutes of this game.
They're 2 of 8 in 3rd downs. A low snap. Brown's throw tipped out of midair by Alabama. It was Rashaan Evans who got his big paw on it at around the 30-yard line and knocked that one out of midair, incomplete. So the Crimson Tide's defense now starting to get with the program, and the Trojans will have to punt it away with Bama leading 7-3, 6:33 remaining until halftime.
Well, Bama's winning on 1st and 2nd down, which puts them with all the advantages on 3rd down. But Smith-Schuster, does he have a catch yet?
Smith-Schuster has no.
Yeah, here we are all the way
not.
in the middle of the 2nd quarter. He has not caught a pass yet. So this Bama secondary doing a nice job.
Here now the punt fielded by Ridley. He'll take a knee at the 25-yard line after the boot by Chris Tilby. Here's a 1st and 10, Crimson Tide from their own 25. Out of the pistol formation, Damian Harris lined up behind the quarterback. They fake the give to Stewart. Harris finds a big hole. Nice blocking. He's out across the 35-yard line. Bradley Bozeman and Lester Cotton doing some nice blocking that time, in the first down run by young Damian Harris, the sophomore out of Richmond, Kentucky.
They fake that tap pass and then give it inside to Damian Harris. He had room to operate. He picks up a first down.
2 wides either way, including O.J. Howard. Broken play. Here comes the quarterback, Hurts. He'll try and make something happen. He'll dance to the 39-yard line. Looked as though it was going to be a straight-on handoff. He pulled the ball back. It was tough to tell if it was a busted play or it was designed that way. Well, but he does end up getting himself, but there's an injured player.
Official timeout for an injured player.
The nickel defensive back, Leon McQuay, for SC, came off the edge. He beat Gary Dieter, not Dieter Brock. No. Gary Dieter is in the slot. So almost an impossible block to make with a corner coming off from out of your face into the backfield. So Hurts pulls the ball and really was lucky to get 3 yards there.
The injured player, Noah Jefferson, the defensive tackle on the left side for Southern Cal, who appeared in every game last year with 1 start as a true freshman.
Yeah, and he's had some injury issues, hasn't been able to stay healthy consistently during his career at SC, and that was the area of their team that they were most concerned about, is just the lack of experience and the lack of depth in their front seven, particularly the defensive line.
He will walk off unaided to the far sidelines, but we can read his lips, and he is none too pleased with that injury, whatever it might be. But again, he walked off under his own power. Here now is a 2nd down and 7 for Alabama. They'll snap it from their own 40-yard line. Bozeman, the center. Pistol formation. Harris gets the handoff, looks left, comes up the middle, breaks free. He's going to go down the near sideline. There's a race on. Harris tries to stiff arm a man, cannot. He is taken down at the 15-yard line, but a huge run by Damian Harris. Only Adoree Jackson's speed saved the touchdown that time, a 46-yard run. And you know who threw a great block? Jonah Williams, the freshman on the right tackle side. Great job. Bama now from the 15. Running back handoff, nothing there, as this time they sniffed it out. The Trojans did. And Harris goes to the sidelines.
Well, SC is very aggressive up front, and they got penetration again and blew up that play. But Damian Harris, the only thing that kept him out of the end zone was the Olympic-level speed of Adoree Jackson.
Michael Hutchings stopped that one. Here's a 2nd down and 11 now. With Scarborough to his right, snapping it from the 15-yard line. Hurts looks right, throws, catch, Ardarius Stewart dancing around one man inside the 15, and out of bounds he goes at around the 14-yard line. Iman Marshall, they call him Biggie. He was the guy that could not bring Ardarius down the first time and allowed him to pick up an extra yard or so, but still 3rd and 9. Bama behind the chains now, snapping it here from the 14-yard line. Bama 2 of 6 in 3rd down conversion.
This is where Jalen's got to be very careful with the football here. If you get the first, great. If not, they'll take the field goal here.
O.J. Howard in left side of the formation. Here's Hurts, stutter step, right side 10. Tries to dance around the man and gets out of bounds. He had running room, but Iman Marshall came up and took the angle away, but it gives Alabama a relatively short field goal here. Of course, in this day and age, especially in what happened today in the Mississippi State game, nothing is a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. This will be a 30-yard field goal by Adam Griffith, who was 5 of 6 from this distance last year. Cole Mazza snaps it. Cooper Bateman holds. Off the near hash mark, they're kicking it left to right. Snap, spot, kick on the way. Up and good. And Alabama has taken a 10-3 lead.
Well, the explosive plays for Alabama. The touchdown pass, Jalen Hurts, Darius Stewart, then the breakout run by Damian Harris sets up this field goal. But on that third down call, Alabama goes to the zone read. They do not risk the drop back pass with this true freshman, Jalen Hurts. They take the field goal and the Tide goes up by a touchdown.
So the Tide leads 10-3. The Bromberg's forever mark scoring drive, 7 plays, 64 yards in 1 minute and 59 seconds. So you know what, Phil? Everybody at home is breathing. They're taking their Golden Flake chips and they're dipping it into the onion dip. And they're saying, well, now who starts at quarterback next week? It never stops, does it?
Well, it doesn't. But right now, it looks like it's Jalen Hurts' job based on what he's done, because of the explosive ability to make plays on his own. This offensive line for Bama has struggled blocking USC in terms of pass protection. They've utilized his athletic ability to try to break, contain, and create more room for this Bama offense.
Adoree Jackson and Jack Jones are deep to field the kick from Adam Griffith. The first 2 kickoffs were touchbacks. This one is Jones. Adoree comes out. Adoree Jackson goes to the far side, and he gets snowed under before he gets to the 20-yard line at the 19. So Adoree Jackson with the run back, a little pushing and shoving there. Minkah Fitzpatrick being separated by the officials. Adoree Jackson, the kick returner, upset. There's a lot of holding going on down there on the return. Referee Reggie Smith from the Big 12 working this ball game.
After the play, flagrant personal foul by the receiving team, number 40. Stomped on the player. Half the distance to the goal from the dead ball spot. Number 40 has disqualified himself from the game.
That is Jabari Ruffin, the inside linebacker, who is number 2 on the depth chart behind Uchenna Nwosu. And Jabari Ruffin is being disqualified with a flagrant foul on a dead ball situation.
Well, for Alabama, from Alabama's standpoint, they'll take it because, more importantly, not the player being ejected, but the fact that USC backs themselves up now to their own 10-yard line.
We've got 3 minutes, 20 seconds remaining until halftime. Alabama leads 10-3. Max Brown, the quarterback, has a running back lined up behind him in the pistol formation. There's the inside give, and it gets a yard, no more, as Jonathan Allen came up to meet the running back who could not get himself going. Doesn't matter if it's been the man here, Justin Davis, or Ronald Jones. Bama's been pretty much on top of those handoffs very quickly. Jonathan Allen again. Yeah,
Daron Payne just setting the foundation of this Bama defense right in the middle, and that allows his teammates to pursue from the backside.
So now a 2nd down and 8 after a pickup of a couple. Empty backfield for the Trojans. Brown backpedals to his own 4, throws across the middle, tip, intercepted Alabama, taken by the Tide. Marlon Humphrey runs it back in. Touchdown, Alabama! Touchdown, Alabama off the deflect. Marlon Humphrey picks it up and takes it in from the 18-yard line. Touchdown, Alabama!
Eli, this defense, you might poke a hole in them every now and again, but it is airtight. Reuben Foster, the coverage on Deontay Burnett. He ricochets the ball up into the air. Marlon Humphrey catches it, takes it to the house, and now Alabama up by 2 touchdowns.
What a play. What a play. And you know how good Marlon Humphrey is and the big plays he's made for Alabama, as the extra point by Adam Griffith is up and good. It's to the point now where the great Bobby Humphrey, Bama's longtime All-America, great All-Pro performer in the National Football League. Every time I see Bobby, we always talk about him being Marlon's daddy. He's not Bobby Humphrey anymore. He's Marlon's daddy. And what a play right there. 18-yard pick 6 for the good guys. And Alabama's lead is now 17-3. That was huge right before the half.
Well, Eli, you talk about sudden plays and sudden changes. I mean, literally 5 minutes ago, SC's in the middle of this game, and now they're down 2 touchdowns. It really takes and it changes the complexion of this contest because, first of all, they were trying to run a little bit, but they can't. And now it's going to all be passing, and they can't protect right now against this Bama defensive front.
Across the way, Adoree Jackson. To the near side, Jack Jones set to field the kickoff from Adam Griffith. Marlon Humphrey tonight, a couple of tackles, a pick six, 1 tackle for loss. Still on the heels of that onside kick recovery last year, which will forever keep him in Alabama football lore. Here now, Adam Griffith, kicking it away left to right. It is a low kick that bounces, taken by Jackson in the end zone. Comes out near side, looks for running room. He nearly breaks free, but he is pulled down at the 40-yard line. The Crimson Tide with Anthony Everett, Garrick Dieter out there. But that's what makes Adoree Jackson so dangerous. But Alabama stayed with him. They'll spot the football at around the 40-yard line. There's a lot of jawing going on out there. Minkah Fitzpatrick having a few words again with Adoree Jackson, who was the man who got into it earlier, even though he was not the one ejected from the ball game for Southern Cal.
Well, the lack of poise here by SC. They've had a face mask penalty that put Alabama in motion on offense, and then that personal foul, the stomping back SC up on that last possession. Those were 2 huge penalties in this game so far.
1st and 10, Southern Cal from their own 40. Brown throws far side. Catch is made. Stephen Mitchell breaks free. Right sideline. First down. And out of bounds he goes inside the 40-yard line. Stephen Mitchell, the junior from Pasadena's Bishop High School.
Well, he's another of these receivers who can really run. And Alabama was late on the coverage, and then he broke a tackle on Ronnie Harrison for that extra yard.
24-yard pickup on the play. Here now is a first down from their 45-yard line. Brown gets the low snap, looks near side. There's pressure, reaching up. A grab is incomplete at the 5-yard line. Darius Rogers with coverage from Anthony Everett. They packed him with Ronnie Harrison as his backup, and that ball was incomplete at the 5-yard line. Looking for Darius Rogers again, one of the 8 guys who caught passes last year who are still on this team.
Well, these outside receivers are big. Smith-Schuster, 6'2", 220. Darius Rogers, 6'1", 215. They're difficult to defend downfield. 2nd
down and 10. Snapping it, the Trojans are from the Bama 44. The Tide leads 17-3 late in this first half. Here's Brown. They try the same play again and overthrow the intended receiver. Deontay Burnett was being watched that time by Minkah Fitzpatrick and Eddie Jackson. Of course, Tim Williams was in on the quarterback as well, which hustled that play. That's why he was so far off the mark.
Yeah, and SC has a second set of receivers that they'll put in. Deontay Burnett as part of that. They now have 4 wideouts on the field. They tried to hit him on post corner, but right in the hip pocket, Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Brown now 10 of 20, 86 yards. Trojans 22% in 3rd downs today. Brown looks right. He'll throw. Catch, he's out of bounds. That's incomplete. The man caught it, but he was out of bounds and came back. That was Stephen Mitchell. He put himself out of bounds. And, of course, you know the rule. You can't be the first guy to touch it if you put yourself out of bounds, and he caught it.
The field is that the receiver stepped out of bounds, did not reestablish before touching the ball. It's an incomplete pass. 4th down.
And this time it was Mitchell in the face of an Alabama defender. So now another punt. It'll be the 5th of the evening for Chris Tilby, averaging 42 yards per. We've got 1:44 to go until halftime, with Bama leading 17-3, and Tilby short kicks that one. He used a half-leg swing, and Ridley goes across to the far sideline and makes the grab at about the 13-yard line. So that's where Alabama will be going to work after a 30-yard punt.
Well, again, the defense gave up that 24-yard play, but then they tightened back up. And I tell you, it's going to be a challenge all year for the opponent offenses because this unit can absolutely fly to the football. But Eli, the offense takes over. 1:37 seconds left on their own 13. I think Nick Saban will be very conservative here because SC does not have any timeouts.
Exactly.
So they can run the clock out here, go to the half with a 14-point lead. I'd be surprised to see even a screen pass here from Jalen Hurts to Bo Scarborough.
Don't forget, coming up shortly, the Full Moon Barbecue halftime report. Scores, highlights, everything you need to know about a busy day in college football. The Full Moon Barbecue halftime report is next. Now, on an inside handoff, Bo Scarborough going between Bozeman and Pierce Baker. Gets out across the 15 to the 16.5-yard line, and the clock is on the move. Scarborough runs upright. He is a
40-second play clock.
They're resetting the play clock as you hear. He's an upright kind of runner, Phil.
Yeah, he's a bigger body type, so it's indicative of someone that can run between the tackles. But tonight there hasn't been a ton of room on the inside.
A minute remaining until halftime. Here's Scarborough. Goes left, gets hit, and stopped at the 15-yard line. But again, the clock is on the move. Southern Cal has no timeouts. Don't forget, folks, again this year at halftime, Chris Stewart with the Golden Flake interview of Coach Nick Saban. That'll be coming up as soon as we get to the half.
And this is why those timeouts are so valuable. They're so treasured. You give them away in the first quarter. Now you can't stop the clock and put some pressure on Alabama with a punt, maybe set up some field position and go down and get a field goal yourself. So Nick Saban's just going to wind this clock and take it to the half with a 2-touchdown lead.
They'll snap it with maybe 10 seconds remaining on the half clock. Here now the handoff. Very little on the right side for Damian Harris. He is snowed under at the line of scrimmage, but that will do it. Alabama is going to let the half wind down and take a 17-3 lead into the locker room. Well, started off slowly, but it turned out to be just fine.
Well, Eli, we've seen this story before. It's Trayvon Diggs back there, the true freshman. But we've seen this story unfold before. An opponent is kind of in the mix, and then all of a sudden, in a matter of seconds, you fall behind by 2 touchdowns.
Here's the kick. It goes into the end zone. Trayvon about 7 yards deep, and he'll take a knee with the assistance of our Darius Stewart, who just stood there, and you could hear him say, down, down, take a knee. Trayvon's one of those anxious young men, a great talent. And, you know, if nobody's there, he might just bring the darn thing out. Not really, but he's that way. He's a very, very wonderful athlete and loves being part of this Crimson Tide football team. A real nice guy.
Yeah, the coaches have been very high on him throughout training camp. As a returner, as a defensive player, as a potential wide receiver, he's really ultra-talented, and we're going to get Jalen Hurts to open this second half.
So Alabama now with a 1st and 10, starting at their own 25-yard line. The running back is Joshua Jacobs, another of the freshmen. We saw B.J. Emmons earlier for a bit. Now Joshua Jacobs lined up to the right rear of his quarterback. 2 wides left, 1 to the right. Play clock at 4, 3. Bozeman snaps it. The give Jacobs starts left, turns it up north-south, and he'll pick up 5 yards to the 30. Joshua Jacobs, he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's McLean High School, a very explosive runner. And the weird thing is, Phil, as you know, we'll talk more in a minute, he came to Alabama very late in the recruiting process. We'll talk more in a second. Here's a 2nd down and 5 now. The Tide at their own 30-yard line. Again, Jacobs gets the fake. Kept by the quarterback. Hurts, stutter step moves, gets to the edge, and gets only back to the line of scrimmage. May actually lose a half a yard. It was strange how Jacobs came to the picture very late.
Yeah, Alabama staff got a tip on him. He's a Wildcat quarterback outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Had offers from Tulsa and Missouri. Alabama came in late. A scholarship broke free on the morning of signing date. He committed to the Tide by noon. And here he is as a true freshman on the field early in the second half against USC.
Hale Hinchus checks in now, tight end H-back. Derek Dieter, one of two wideouts to the left. Damian Harris is the setback. 3rd down and 6, Alabama. Play clock at 6, 5. Hurts in the shotgun, 4. Gets the snap, 3. Looks right, throws, wide open. Ardarius Stewart. Nobody's going to get him. He's down the near side, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Alabama, 71 yards. They lost Ardarius Stewart. Folks, he was halfway to Fort Worth before anybody realized that he was out there all by himself.
Well, a major league blunder by SC. Amon Marshall, the boundary corner, came on the pressure, and nobody picked up the wide receiver, Ardarius Stewart. It looked like a busted play that you would see in the backyard. Hurts to Stewart. He takes it to the house, and Alabama now leads big, 23-3.
Adam Griffith now to attempt the extra point. I mean, seriously, we're talking wide. He was closer to the baseball stadium than he was to anything else here. They just lost him. And that happens, It's the first game, and somebody screwed up. Now the extra point try by Adam Griffith. It is up, and it is good. The Brombergs' forever mark scoring drive. 3 plays. 75 yards in 1 minute and 17 seconds. And the Crimson Tide now padding their lead. They're up 24-3. So what happens there, Phil? Let's get away from the very detailed X's and O's, and let's explain it in English so everybody can understand.
SC's in their 4-man defensive front.
Right.
The corner, Amon Marshall's on the near side boundary covering Ardarius Stewart. On the snap of the ball, he rushed, and the defensive end dropped off into the flat, but he does not have the responsibility for that wide receiver. A safety should have been coming over the top, or maybe Marshall was wrong, got his signals crossed up and rushed when he was supposed to be covered. But obviously, the corner and the safety have to be on the same page. They weren't, and it results in a 75-yard touchdown and a third explosive play for this Alabama offense.
Wow.
That consistency-wise hadn't really been able to put 2 plays together in a row.
And let's not forget the fact that Jalen Hurts threw a beautiful pass. The guy was wide open, but Jalen threw a beautiful pass.
Well, he had to see it.
Adoree Jackson coming out. He looks to the far side, breaks a couple of tackles, spins away from a man across the 30, and he's to the 33-yard line. Adoree Jackson, who averaged 23 yards per return last year. That's a 31-yard return before he is taken down by Minkah Fitzpatrick and his band of buddies. So the Crimson Tide now on top 24-3.
24-3, and you talk about a sitting duck. Poor Max Brown, the quarterback for USC, down 21 points. The run game's netted 6 yards for you. He's got to throw the rock now, and Alabama can just rush the rest of the night.
Justin Davis is the running back. DeQuan Hampton is in motion, and somebody jumped. Referee Reggie Smith.
Number 73, 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
It was the right tackle, Zach Banner, who gets the 5th flag of the day against the Trojans.
6'9", 360 pounds. He is truly one mountain of a man.
Meanwhile, Alabama only with 1 penalty against them here today to 5 for the Trojans. Now a quick release near side, 30-yard line on a first down and 15. Stephen Mitchell gets a couple of yards.
And Juju Smith-Schuster right now, they've hardly directed even a pass at him. He has no catches. He came in from last season, 89 receptions on the year, 10 touchdowns, one of the top players in all of America. He hasn't seen the football tonight.
That screen pass right there yields very little. Here is a 2nd and 13. Crossing route knocked down. Alabama getting the big mix-up. Dalvin Tomlinson and Jonathan Allen were there in the middle, and Jonathan just reached up and knocked the football down.
Yeah, that was Alabama's version of the fire zone. In other words, a linebacker tries to rush the quarterback from depth, and a defensive lineman, in this case, Jonathan Allen, drops back into coverage, and he jumps up and knocks the football away.
Southern Cal now in third down conversions. They've only had a couple today out of 13 tries. Brown, pressure, steps up, throws, catches dropped at the 31-yard line. Taylor McNamara with Reuben Foster on the cover, and the Trojans could not hang on, and they'll have to punt it away to the Alabama Crimson Tide. 6 punts already for Chris Tilby, averaging 41.2 yards per punt. He's a transfer, the Australian is, from San Francisco Community College.
Well, Eli, how's this for defensive production after that first opening field goal? They turn them back on downs, punt.
Hold it, here's a snap. Tilby loses it. He'll fall on the football as they mishandle the snap, and Bama's going to get it on the Southern Cal 13. It was a routine snap back to Chris Tilby. He muffed the snap, dropped it to the ground, fell on the football at the 13. It was right in his hands. He was looking downfield, maybe to try and figure where to kick it away from Calvin Ridley. The play loses 17 more, and Bama's knocking on the Trojans' door.
Well, Eli, you're right. He took his eyes off that football, and his hands were apart. It squirts through, and he had plenty of time to get it off. Instead, he falls on the ball. He may have even been able to pick it up and get it away. But Alabama now in big-time business inside the 15 of the USC Trojans.
From the 13, 1st and 10, Scarborough. He'll get the handoff. He'll fight forward for 3 yards to get towards the 10-yard line. Michael Hutchings, the inside linebacker, who started 2 games late last year, was there to make the stop.
Well, Eli, this is the offense we're going to see with Jalen Hurts, the zone read. He's going to put it in the belly of the running back next to him and read the inline defender. If he goes down the line, he pulls it for himself.
Here's now a 2nd and 9, faking the give. Hurts keeps it, rolls right. He's to the 5 and gets out of bounds there. Porter Gustin, the outside linebacker, stayed with him. Folks, if you've heard the coaches and folks talking about Jalen Hurts throughout the fall, you're getting to see why. Yeah, he's young, inexperienced, but doing a great job. Bama 3 of 9 in third down conversions. Here's a 3rd and 1 play. Bo Scarborough moves the pile and gets the necessary yardage. Jonah Williams and Ross Piercebaker did a good job establishing the point of contact on the right side of the line.
They really did, and O.J. Howard came around.
Yes, he did.
Got a piece of Porter Gustin, the defensive end outside backer for USC.
So it's 1st and goal, Crimson Tide, and a whistle before the snap. We'll see who moved, and we'll hear from referee Reggie Smith of the Big 12.
Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty. It's 1st down.
Cam Robinson, the veteran leader of this offensive line group. Only the 2nd penalty of the night, though, for Alabama, compared to the 5 now that Southern Cal has. So that's good, showing pretty good discipline. So now with the mark off, it'll be a 1st and goal from 7 yards away. 11:09 remaining in the 3rd, and Alabama leads 24-3. Shotgun, Jalen Hurts. O.J. Howard in motion to the left. Hurts right up the middle behind Bradley Bozeman. Peels off to the left. He's going in. Touchdown, Alabama. Touchdown, Jalen Hurts. He read the Bradley Bozeman block beautiful, and he was going to go the other way, and he just peeled off behind Big Bradley and took it on in for the TD. Touchdown, Alabama.
Well, Bama had their 3 wide receivers on the field. O.J. Howard was detached, and then they sent Bo Scarborough out of the backfield to create an empty situation. SC empties the box, nobody home, and Jalen Hurts has a walk-in touchdown as the Tide rolls here 30-3.
Extra point, up and good. 4 plays, 13 yards in 1 minute and 2 seconds. That is the Bromberg's forever mark scoring drive. So what have we played here now? 4 minutes and 5 seconds of this 3rd quarter, and Bama's already picked up 2 touchdowns in this period.
And SC the mistakes that they've made, Alabama has capitalized big. A blown coverage for the 75-yard touchdown pass, and then a mishandled snap by the punter, Chris Tilby, set up that last touchdown.
Adoree Jackson and Jack Jones are deep. It's a short kick. Jones bobbles it again, plays it on the second hop, and takes it to the 20-yard line where he is snowed under. Wow, well, wasn't far from Bama getting it back again.
Yeah, that
Sean Dion Hamilton was on top of it, but Jack Jones made the recovery.
Yeah, that ball was loose there for a few moments, and I tell you, Jones was lucky he didn't get hurt because his leg was at an awkward angle underneath that pile as he got tackled.
So here's Max Brown bringing the Southern Cal offense back onto the field. Alabama with a 31-3 lead. 10:49 remaining in the third.
This is Sam Darnold.
Now they're going to go with Sam. Yeah, they are. They're going to go with Sam Darnold, number 14, in the ball game, and he'll try a quick throw into the right flat to Deontay Burnett. And Burnett makes the grab, picks up a couple 3 yards on the play. Sam Darnold, the redshirt freshman from San Clemente High School in Capistrano Beach, California. Good arm. He redshirted last year, but they say he can throw well.
I thought Alabama got a bit of a break when they announced Max Brown because he doesn't have the mobility of Sam Darnold.
A high snap, give it to Jones. Jones loses it. He'll fall on the football. That snap nearly went over Darnold's right shoulder. He made a great grab of it, then handed off awkwardly to Jones, who then slipped as he reached to control the football, and the Tide covering it up. It'll be a 3rd down and 10 upcoming for Southern Cal. They're 2 of 11 in 3rd down conversions. Darnold sends the man in motion. That's Stephen Mitchell to the near side. Darnold straight drop, rolls right, looks, pressured, and he goes out of bounds with Rashaan Evans chasing him to the boundary. And it matters not who quarterbacks the Trojans. The result, at least there, is very much the same.
Well, Rashaan Evans plays that nickel linebacker position, and he's oftentimes the spy for Nick Saban and now Jeremy Pruitt, the new defensive coordinator. And when Darnold tried to escape, Evans mirrored with him and then raced to the boundary, pushes him out of bounds, and now SC forced to punt yet again.
7th punt of the night for the Australian Tilby, no doubt saying, good day, mate. Didn't realize I have to kick it so many times. Here's the kick to Ridley. Calvin says fair catch, makes the grab at his own 39-yard line, and good field position for the Alabama Crimson Tide. It'll be a 40-yard punt and no return. And here's Bama 1st and 10. Fake toss, rolls right, looks and throws it away. And I say a fake toss, it might not have been. Might have been a little broken play right there. Tough to tell sometimes, especially with a new quarterback. Looked like he was trying to find Joshua Jacobs, who took off instead of staying home.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a design bootleg, and Jacobs went the wrong way because as Hurts went to his left, he broke back to the right to run that bootleg and wisely threw the ball away. SC does a nice job in coverage there, so sets up this 2nd and 10.
Hurts 6 of 10, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. 8:52 to go in the third. Alabama leads 31-3. Here's a 2nd down and 10, and now the officials come in, and there are flags, there is discussions.
It's 2nd down.
They're having a little problem with the microphones here. If you're hearing something in the background, that's what you're hearing. And they delayed things for a second, and then there was a penalty marked off on the Crimson Tide.
I think it was O.J. Howard that moved on that left side, so a false start puts Alabama now at 2nd and 15.
2nd and 15. Jacobs to the left of the quarterback, gets a handoff, slashes to his right, gets across the 35 out to about the 38-yard line. Malik Dorton, the defensive end, and Michael Hutchings, the inside linebacker, combined on the stop. So now it's a 3rd and 10 play upcoming for the Tide. 8:31 remaining in the third. Bama 4 of 10, 40% in third down conversions tonight.
Well, Damian Harris goes back in probably for protection purposes on this 3rd and long situation.
He's lined up to the left of Jalen Hurts. We have wideouts, 2 to the right and 1 to the left. Here's Hurts. Stands in, looks, loads up towards Garrick Dieter. It is intercepted by Southern Cal at the 40-yard line by Iman Marshall. Iman Marshall at his own 40-yard line with the interception.
Yeah, that was a 2-deep zone essentially for SC, meaning the safeties coming over the top to help the corner who sank with Ardarius Stewart, and Jalen Hurts did not get that ball up and over the top high enough. Iman Marshall, an outstanding athlete in his own right, he high points that football and makes the interception.
So Southern Cal has it. When we come back, the score, Alabama 31, USC 3. Exactly right. A change at left guard. Damian Mama, who started at left guard last year, is in for Chris Brown, who was banged up earlier. Here's the quarterback, Darnold. He'll look to the right side and throw in a triple coverage and broken up by the Alabama Crimson Tide. That was Eddie Jackson as they went for Juju Smith-Schuster, and Bama just keeping a close eye on him. Obviously, the man's all everything, and there were 3 guys in the vicinity. The throw a tick behind Schuster as well.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal what Bama has been able to do in terms of taking away Juju Smith-Schuster, and most of it has been because of the pressure up front, and then, of course, the coverage downfield has been a result of that.
Southern Cal fans booing the replay. It looked like Eddie Jackson might have gotten there before the ball. Here's Darnold. He'll run to the near side and get snowed under by Sean Dion Hamilton. He was just waiting there, Dion Hamilton was, and here came the quarterback, Sam Darnold. That young man, Sean Dion Hamilton, now he's a junior out of Montgomery's Carver. It's been fun watching him improve every year.
Well, and he's part of this Alabama defense, certain packages from his inside linebacker post, but there's so much versatility now on this Bama D.
Here's the 3rd and 9 for the Trojans, throwing it near side. Ball is incomplete, looking for Darius Rogers along the numbers at the 40-yard line. He had drawn coverage there, and he had one hand on it. The passes by Darnold have just been a little bit off. Behind this guy, high for this guy. Anthony Everett was there watching, and it's incomplete. So now the 7th punt by Dilby. Remember the last time he muffed the snap and had to fall on the football. So this is statistically his 7th kick right here. Bama's deep man, Ridley, back at his own 15, and the kick. Calvin makes the grab, gets spun around, and put down by Stephen Mitchell right at the spot. It'll be a 44-yard punt, and the attempted return, but nothing there. But Alabama's got the football. Clock at 7:10 remaining in the third after a rapidly played first half, when Southern Cal, of course, along with Alabama, did some running. Now with everybody throwing the ball, this game has slowed significantly, but, whatever.
Yeah,
what else do we have to do? And Bama's up 31-3, so it's fun.
And 2 of the marquee players in this matchup, Juju Smith-Schuster and Calvin Ridley for Alabama, they've had very little impact on this game from an offensive standpoint, but here's Jalen Hurts once again in the pistol for Alabama.
Ridley, 2 catches, 9 yards. Pistol formation with the running back behind him. Here's the handoff to B.J. Emmons, who'll go slanting to the right side. Across the 20-yard line to the 21. So he'll pick up 5 on the play, maybe 5.5. B.J. Emmons, if you subscribe to those recruiting services, Rivals.com and ESPN and all those guys, they called BJ the #1 running back out of high school last year. Here now, the 2nd down and 5 play. Running back Damian Harris is in, gets the handoff, big hole up the middle, into the secondary. The race is on. 50, 40, 30, 25-20, 15-10. He is tripped up at the 5-yard line by the speedster, Adoree Jackson. Jackson, the only guy, the Olympic speedster, who was able to chase him down after a 74-yard run. The only guy on the field who had a chance to get him, and Adoree Jackson does. But Bama's going right to work from the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. Heading towards the end zone to our right. It says USC in the end zone, but Bama has owned that bit of turf all night long. Man in motion, O.J. Howard to the near side. Here's Jalen Hurts. He'll go laterally, turns at the corner, gets to the end. He is in. Touchdown, Alabama. Great blocking by the offensive line. And Jalen Hurts, man, you got to love Jalen Hurts. What an exciting ball player. Touchdown, Alabama. The Tide's up 37-3. With the extra point to come.
Well, Jalen Hurts gives you such a dimension with his legs, and that was just a designed quarterback sweep. We may as well go back to the 1920s with that particular offensive play. And he just runs to the pylon, blocking up front, and Alabama cruising along here at 37-3.
The snap and the spot are good. The extra point kick is up and good by Adam Griffith. Alabama's Bromberg's forever mark scoring drive. 3 plays, 85 yards in 1 minute and 17 seconds. And the Crimson Tide now leads 38-3. Wow. This has been impressive tonight. Took a while. And let's all be honest, those of you guys listening at home or wherever you are, they're all saying early in the ball game, well, where's the offense? What's going on? Where's this? And it's all come together. Big plays, great blocking on the offensive line, and a defense that just will not bend.
Well, and then just the competitive nature of this Bama team. The defense hung in there, forced all those punts in a row, got a pick 6. Then the mishandled punt snap. Every time SC has made a mistake, Alabama has not only capitalized, but they've done it in a big way. It's usually resulted in a score. But Jalen Hurts, and then how about Damian Harris? We talked about him last year not having a lot of room to run. Tonight he's gotten a couple of cracks. And other than Adoree Jackson, he would have had 2 long touchdown runs.
Here's the kickoff. Adoree Jackson from the 1 to the hash mark, cuts left. Gets hit, goes right, spins around, does a full pirouette, and is snowed under at the 20-yard line. That's where the Trojans will start. Alabama's Rashaan Evans on the tackle. You're right, last year, Damian Harris, of course, behind only a Heisman Trophy winner, 44 carries, 155 yards. Heck, you almost got that here tonight.
Yeah, and he just, last year the gaps, the openings, the creases just didn't seem to happen for him. But tonight he's broken into the secondary on 2 different occasions. And again, if not for Adoree Jackson, and give him credit. I mean, this game's out of hand, and he absolutely turned on the burners to catch Damian on that previous long run.
Well, they've gone back to Max Brown. A high snap from center. He'll hand it off. And here comes Ronald Jones up the middle. He's going to be caught by Alabama and taken down inside the 35 at the 33. Eddie Jackson and others, he and Ronnie Harrison, they're trying to chase him down, and they got him. But a big gainer right there for Ronald Jones off what was, again, a bad snap by the center, Toa Lobendon, 47 yards up the middle.
Well, those big pickups like that have been few and far between for SC. Let's see if Alabama can stiffen up here inside the 40.
Snapping it from the 33. Here's Brown, swings it out near side. Catch is made by Juju Smith-Schuster. First reception of the night, and he'll get down inside the 25 to the 24. Anthony Averett still there, and they're picking on him as they did earlier this evening. But Juju Smith, first-team All-America, All-Pac-12, Biletnikoff candidate, one of the best in the nation, and that's his first catch of the evening. Bama 325 total yards, the Trojans 135. High snap again, Brown. He'll toss it right side. Ronald Jones goes there. He'll lose yardage. Sean Dion Hamilton comes back and gets him at the 25 before he turns the corner. and a loss. And I said that was going to be the toss to Ronald Jones. Everybody saw it coming. It really, again, and it takes something out of Brown's hands, too, when he has to field these errant snaps.
Yeah, the ball has not been accurate from the center tonight, Lobendam.
Jones and Ware are the two running backs. Here's the give. Nice hole up the middle. It gets 3 yards for Cedric Ware. Ware goes down to the 19-yard line and a first down for the Trojans. 4 minutes remaining in the third. Alabama leads 38-3. If you're just joining us, Barnett started. Blake Barnett for the Tide, relieved early by Jalen Hurts. And Jalen's been in the rest of the way. Here's the snap. Stiff arm, far side. Cedric Ware. And he'll go inside the 15-yard line down to the 14. Marlon Humphrey and others coming up off the corner to make the snap. His first name is Cedric. ACA apostrophe CEDRIC. Cedric Ware. He showed flashes of potential last year as a true freshman. Here's the 6th play of the drive for the Trojans. 2nd down and 5. Handoff. Near side he comes. Flags on the play. There's going to be a hold on the left side of the play. Looked like Juju Smith-Schuster actually held the Bama linebacker Sean Dion Hamilton. It wasn't the biggins on the interior. It looked like Juju was caught. Let's listen in.
Holding. Offense, number 9.
Yep.
10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
6th penalty of the night against Southern Cal.
Well, good eyes there, Eli. And with Smith-Schuster, he's typically an outside receiver, but they've used him inside as a slot, and he motioned across and was going to block the corner like Richard Mullaney did last year for Alabama. And he didn't have much of a chance to block these Bama defenders without grabbing a little jersey.
3 minutes, 3 seconds remaining, third quarter. Alabama leads 38-3. 2nd and 14, Southern Cal. They're spotting it at their own at the Alabama 24. Here's the quarterback. Brown throws across the middle, knocked out and down by Minka Fitzpatrick, who was on top of Stephen Mitchell, the intended receiver, at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick has made the statement several times over the summer. I mean, this is a pro corner. I mean, he's got a big future in the NFL. He's only a sophomore, but between he and Marlon Humphrey, these are two of the best in the country as far as a set of defensive backs in America.
Here's a 3rd and 14 play now for Southern Cal. Backpedaling is Brown under pressure. He'll try and get away. He'll look and throw over the head of Juju Smith-Schuster. Incomplete. Of course, Dalvin Tomlinson was all over the quarterback and was coming in a hurry. And there's a Bama player down. It is Dalvin Tomlinson. See if he's okay. You know, he's been dealing with that ankle twist.
Official timeout for an injured player.
He was dealing with an ankle back in the fall camp. I don't know if that's the case here. Trainer Jeff Allen is out there, and I will not presume to guess what might be banged up. I am not a doctor, nor did I stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Paging Dr. Eli Gold.
Yeah. Dr. Bombay, remember that one? But he walks off now, Dalvin does. No support from the trainers alongside. Now a field goal. Matt Bormeister will try a 40-yarder here. Off the far hash mark, kicking it right to left as you listen. Kick is on the way, kick is up, and the 40-yarder is good. So 2 field goals tonight by Southern Cal, a 47-yard field goal in the opening quarter by Matt Bormeister, and now this 40-yarder right here. And Southern Cal picks up 3 points, but Bama still leads 38-6. The Bromberg's forever marked scoring drive will be 7 plays for the Trojans, 56 yards in 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, and of course that was set up by virtue of an explosive play for USC. And as I've stated several times already tonight, Alabama may give you a play here or there defensively, but ultimately they kept the Trojans out of the end zone, and of course are up big here, 38-6. And Eli, did this game have a 38-6 feel to it midway through the first quarter?
No, midway through the first quarter, it had a 3-2 feel to it, you know.
And you've been watching some baseball the last couple of days.
Yes. Caught a ball game last night over right up the street, the Rangers and the Astros. But yeah, in the first quarter, it was like nothing going on. All right, Alabama deep. Trayvon Diggs and Ardarius Stewart. Kick goes out of bounds. Out of bounds. And the big penalty against Southern Cal.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team number 39. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
I'll tell you, that's too bad. Only because I'd love to see Trayvon Diggs with the ball. Folks, when you get a chance to see him, he's wearing number 7 this year. When you get a chance to see him play, he will really impress you.
Yeah, of course, his older brother, Stephon Diggs, out of Maryland, was a junior declare several years ago. Plays for the Minnesota Vikings and an established receiver for that particular team.
On the sideline, Jeff Allen, the trainer, talking to Nick Saban, discussing everything. And now Blake Barnett back in the ball game for Alabama. Here's the snap. He gets it at the 30. He'll pump. He'll pull it down. He'll run forward and get wrestled to the ground back at the line of scrimmage by Rasheem Green, the backup defensive tackle on that side. Blake Barnett started, if you're just joining us, lasted a couple, 3 series, was then replaced by Jalen Hurts, who has given Alabama the 38-6 lead. And now as we get to the 2-minute mark remaining in the third quarter, we've gone back to Blake Barnett. Out of the pistol, hand off to Scarborough. Bo up the middle, little dance move, carries the pile. It'll be a yard short of the first down. He get out to the 44-yard line. That's what Bo Scarborough can do.
Yeah, he can get up inside between those tackles and plow forward and sets Alabama up here in a short yardage situation.
Bama 4 of 11 in third down conversions. Here's the 3rd and a yard. Give it to Ball. He'll carry the pile and pick up the first down across the 45 to the 45.5-yard line, and they will move the chains. Bo Scarborough, last year 18 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown in 6 games as a true freshman. Of course, he missed 4 games.
Well, when Blake Barnett was in the game earlier, he essentially had 2 possessions. The first one netted a first down on the first play. Then they were 3 plays and out, then 3 plays and out. Then it was Jalen Hurts the rest of the way. So this is an important drive for Blake to get a rhythm and a feel for the game, get some quality experience here.
Robert Foster in motion. They fake the give to him, and Barnett gives it to Scarborough, who goes across to the left side. Porter Gustin will put him down. Bo Scarborough. And he says, yes, my name is Scarborough, not Scarborough.
This is an important drive for him as well because their yards have been tough to come by for Bo. And he may break one out of here if he'll keep pounding the rock as we get closer to the fourth quarter.
25 seconds to go in this period. Alabama with a 2nd down and 3. With Bo watching, here's Barnett. He stands in, looks long. He's got a man, O.J. Howard. Great catch as he reaches down to grab it and goes to the 5-yard line. What a set of hands before Matt Lopes puts him down at the 5. It was not an easy catch, folks, by any stretch of the imagination. 43 yards. O.J. did a great job pulling it in off the fingertips, and he's to the 5 as the quarter comes to an end.
This is the end of the third quarter.
So in a dramatic fashion, Reggie Smith tells us the quarter is over, and Alabama will be knocking on the door again when we move to period number 4. All right, after O.J. Howard was caught, officially they'll say his knee hit at the 9. So with Bo Scarborough with the running back and Barnett the quarterback, here's Bama 1st and goal from the USC 9. Barnett rolls right. He'll pump. Cuts inside of a tackler. He'll fight forward. He gets down to the 5-yard line. Nice move cutting inside of an awaiting tackler. Marvell Tell finally puts him down. It'll be a 2nd and goal from the 5.5, officially the 6.
Yeah, Blake Barnett, that was a run-pass option. They moved the pocket again to get away from the pressure of SC. Nothing doing route-wise, so he tucks it under and runs.
Shotgun. Scarborough fights inside the 5 down to the 3. It'll be a 3rd and goal from there. Rasheem Green in on the stop. Bama 5 of 12 and 3rd down conversions. Man, this just looks so classic out there. Bama in the crimson jerseys over the white pants. USC in the familiar white with the cardinal trim over the gold pants. Some great college football between these two teams over the years, and wonderful to watch. Here's Barnett. Gets the snap. Rolls right. Cannot find any running room. He'll get to the 2.5-yard line on a 4th and goal coming up as we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Welcome back. Eli Gold, Phil Savage, Chris Stewart. Bama up 38-6, 4th and goal. They're going for it. Bama going for it on 4th and goal from the 2.5-yard line. Quarterback gets it. Handoff up the middle. Bo Scarborough. Touchdown, Alabama. Touchdown, Alabama for the big running back out of Tuscaloosa County. Nothing fancy, just carry the pile.
Yeah, Bama put their heavy package in the game, 4th and 2, and they just plowed straight ahead. Got great movement at the point of attack, and Bo Scarborough does the rest. Alabama now at 44-6.
Extra point try from Adam Griffith. Cole Mazza snaps it. Cooper Bateman on the hold, and Alabama's lead now increases to 45-6. The Brombergs forever mark scoring drive. 9 plays, 65 yards, 4 minutes and 23 seconds. The big play was that toss and a great catch by O.J. Howard. Back after this, the Tide's up big on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Here's Adam Griffith to kick it away. This one comes down in the end zone and the touchback. It'll be his 3rd touchback of the night. Could have been played by Ben Davis, but he elected to let it sit and get the football out at the 25-yard line. Don't forget, next Saturday, folks, 2:30 at home. The kickoff against the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky will be on the air at 11:30 in the morning for the home opener. Right here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's always great to play here in Dallas, but it's a whole lot nicer to be at home on campus. Justin Davis is the tailback. He'll get the handoff now from Brown and goes nowhere. As a matter of fact, Anthony Jennings comes shooting through and puts him down. It'll give him some forward progress there, but he'll still lose a yard and a half. Anthony Jennings, the redshirt freshman out of Dadeville, Alabama.
Yeah, a lot of new faces on this Alabama defense now. Josh Frazier up front, Rashawn Evans, Keith Holcomb in the game now, and of course Anthony Jennings with a tackle for loss there.
Dakota Ball is out there on the defensive line. Here's Brown now, throws far side. Tight end Tyler Petit. He'll make the grab up high, but still not enough to do anything. By the way, that tackle by Anthony Jennings before, the 8th tackle for a loss by Alabama here tonight. You had a great line before, Phil. We'll talk a second here. Here's Southern Cal with a 3rd and 7. Back goes Brown. He'll just unload it. Finds a running back, but Justin Davis could go nowhere. He was already in the grasp of Holcomb. who made the stop. You had a great line before. We were talking up here during the break, and you said, let's face it, this is a pro defense wearing college uniforms. And that was a great way to describe this Alabama D.
It really is, Eli. I often say to people, all these Alabama defenders, they'll get a chance in an NFL camp. They could, they'll potentially be drafted, but for sure, at least a free. Every player we saw tonight in that front 15 or so that played will be drafted in the National Football League in the future.
Tilby will punt it to Trayvon Diggs, and it goes out of bounds, assuring there won't be a run back, but let's see where they say it went out of bounds. It'll be across the 30 at the 32-yard line. So Alabama with good field position again. We've got 11:19 remaining in the ball game. This one is long since determined. 1st and 10 Alabama with Joshua Jacobs now in the pistol formation behind Barnett. He'll throw the slant. Barnett will. It'll be complete out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Nicely caught by Cam Sims. First catch of the night after 6 receptions last year. Now here's another guy at 6'5", 203, Phil. He has good size and speed.
Yeah, he really does. And, of course, he's coming off of an injury, if I'm not mistaken. So it's good to see him get some action and make a nice first down grab there on the slant route.
Inside 11 minutes remaining in the ball game. Alabama taking some time. Here's the 1st and 10. Football is at Bama's own 45-yard line. Barnett raises his leg, gets the snap, handoff up the middle, and there's Joshua Jacobs dancing and finding running room, picking up 8 on the play. Out across midfield to the Trojans' 47-yard line. Clemson has added a field goal. They now lead Auburn 13-3 in their ball game. As now again the handoff, and Joshua Jacobs tries to fight his way, gets very, very close to first down yardage, and they will give it to him. They'll say his knee went down. Joshua Jacobs, high school senior, averaged 245 yards a game. Also 15 yards per reception. A total of 2,700 yards and 31 TDs as a high school senior out of McLean High School in Tulsa. Now he leaves and B.J. Emmons comes in on a 1st and 10 play here. From the 45 of Southern Cal, the quarterback gets under center. Play action fake. Barnett loads up, looks near side, catch is made. Gehrig Dieter, welcome to the Crimson Tide. Touchdown, Alabama. There's the arm from Barnett, and that's what you were looking for from the slot receiver. Gehrig Dieter, 45 yards for another touchdown.
Wow, the wealth of riches at the disposal of this Alabama team. Gehrig Dieter comes in here as a graduate transfer from Bowling Green. Of course, he played in a prolific offense of their own up there with Dino Babers as now the head coach at Syracuse. But Dieter goes across, and Blake Barnett throws an A.J. McCarron-esque touchdown pass from 45 yards away.
And the extra points up and good. So that was going to be the Bromberg's forever mark scoring drive that lasts 4 plays for Alabama. 67 yards in 1 minute and 54 seconds. And the Tide now has broken half 100. It's Alabama 52 and Southern Cal 6. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Right here, Phil. Got to be a confidence booster.
Yeah, after a shaky start, he comes back in. Now he's led Alabama on 2 touchdown drives, including a touchdown pass of his own, a perfectly thrown football to Gehrig Dieter.
Jack Jones and Justin Davis are deep, and this one sails over Jones's head for another touchback, the 4th such kick tonight by Alabama's Adam Griffith. Yeah, this has been... plus it is the first game of the year. It takes you a while to warm the engine up and get yourself going. But, Southern Cal they had every opportunity to put Bama away early.
Remember, they had those 2 critical penalties that gave Alabama free yardage on offense and then backed them up on defense, and that really opened the floodgates to give Alabama the crack they needed to get going.
Sam Darnold back in at quarterback. He'll fake the inside handoff and find Deontay Burnett with a completed pass, an 8-yard gain out to the 33-yard line. Darnold, again, a good arm. High school senior last year, 2,900 yards passing, 39 touchdowns. Clock shows 9 minutes to go in this Alabama 52-6 rout. Here now the handoff. Cedric Ware picks up a first down as he goes to the right side. Southern Cal, they'll head home and get healthy next Saturday against the Aggies of Utah State. That one at the Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. 8:38 remaining in this one. Darnold on the give. Cedric Ware. He'll pick up 5 to the 40, maybe even an extra yard to the 41, pending the spot. After next week's game against Utah State, they play at Stanford on the 17th of September, at Utah, and then they'll get into the heart of the Pac-12 conference schedule every week virtually. Total yardage, Bama 457 to the Trojans 164. Here's a slant. Deontay Burnett makes the grab for a first down across the midfield stripe. They'll spot the football at the Alabama 47-yard line.
Yeah, SC, it's not an easy road for them. They have one of the most difficult schedules in the country, and of course they started with the most difficult opponent maybe in America right now when you talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama has second and third string defenders out there. Here's a great stop though, over the top. They're going to call a flag. They're going to throw a flag on Anthony Everett for coming over the top and hitting the receiver before the ball got there. Referee.
Pass interference. Defense number 28. Automatic first down.
Anthony from Woodbury, New Jersey. A great athlete. You just got to get reps out there.
Yeah, and of course he's going to be Alabama's primary third corner. So when he comes in the game, he's playing that right cornerback spot. Minka Fitzpatrick slides inside, but he needs this game experience to get ready for next week against Western Kentucky and these other opponents that are on the docket for the Tide.
Ronald Jones on the handoff. Rashaan Evans will get him after a pickup of a yard. It'll be a second down upcoming. 7:15 remaining in the ball game. Alabama leads 52-6. On this side of the stadium, it's all Alabama, and there's virtually no empty seats. Far side of the stadium are the Southern Cal fans, and lots of those blue-gray seats are now being shown as Darnold comes down the near side, throws one long, and it's tipped away by the Crimson Tide. Great job covering as they were looking for Jalen Green, and the Tide came up with a nice stop along the near side. Alabama's Levi Wallace, who just picked up a scholarship, the junior from Tucson, Arizona, doing a great job keeping his eyes on the football, turning around, and making a nice play defensively.
Yeah, this game has evolved into an NFL exhibition game now. Eli, with guys trying to make a name for themselves, and Levi Wallace just made a nice play on a deep ball.
Here's Darnold trying to get out of trouble. There's a flag down. The throw near side hits Holcomb in the back as he is working on the pass coverage. There's a holding call upcoming, I've got to believe, on the near side, the right side of the USC line. They've got guys out there who haven't played all evening long, as do Alabama. We're to that point. The officials are talking this one over extensively. Let's listen in.
There is no foul for holding on the play. It's fourth down.
Not that there's a complaint here, because these guys have a tough job, but either there was holding or there wasn't. You wonder what he threw the flag at. Again, I'm not taking a pot shot at the officials.
Well, it's the first game for them, too.
Yeah. Judgment calls are one thing, but when you throw a flag for something like that, it either was or it wasn't.
Yeah, and that was actually still the majority of SC's starting offensive line with the backup skill players.
Alabama's going to take timeout now.
Alabama calls their first timeout of the half.
They're going to get themselves realigned here. By the way, Cam Sims just walked to the Alabama locker room, arm in a sling. So we will hopefully get an update from the coach on the Regions Bank fifth quarter show. You're just talking about him having been banged up in the past. Chris, did you got anything on that down there?
Yeah, Eli, I saw him come off on the touchdown play on the pass from Barnett to Dieter. I saw him grabbing his, I believe was his right arm. I'm not certain. But they took him into the tent, and I had not seen him again until you just brought it up about him leaving the field and heading to locker room. So, again, I'm sure we'll get an update, if not post-game from Coach, then we will at his Monday press conference.
Definitely. That is Chris Stewart, our Cook's Pest Control sideline reporter. All right, it's a fourth down punting situation for Chris Tilby. What is this, like his 30th punt of the night? It will be his 10th.
Tell you what, when he signed that scholarship to come from Australia, he didn't know he was going to get this kind of work.
No. It started as a good day. It's not quite a good day anymore.
For the man from down under.
Trayvon Diggs is deep. Are we going to lapse into some music here? Here's the kick. End under end. Trayvon says fair catch, and he'll make the grab. And he is begging for a flag. Thought he was interfered with on what would have been kick-catch interference, but the officials say, let's just move on down the road. Actually, he was touched. Bama's still up. Bama's got 457 yards of offense to the Trojans 176.
Yeah, Alabama trying to hold SC under 200. They've done that 36 times under Nick Saban. This would be the 37th game if they could keep the Trojans under that number.
Here's Cooper Bateman in at quarterback, and he'll do a toss to B.J. Emmons, who'll go around the right side, and B.J. gets run out of bounds at the 14-yard line. So he'll pick up 4 on the play. So we have seen 3 quarterbacks for Alabama tonight. The only guy we've not seen, David Cornwell, the sophomore from Norman, Oklahoma, who's basically not practiced at all during camp. Corin Curvin is in. Brandon Kennedy in on the offensive line. Bateman is under center. Gets the snap. Inside handoff. Very little there. J.C. Hassenauer now snapping the football. And the clock just winding its way down. 5 minutes, 39 seconds remaining. Matt Womack in the lineup for Alabama. Again, both teams now going way down. Brandon Green is in at tight end. Here's a 3rd and 2 for the Crimson Tide. Alabama leads 52-6. The Tide 5 of 13 in third down conversions. They come to the line of scrimmage with 6 on the play clock. 5, 4. Bateman in the pistol, sends a man in motion. Here now the handoff, and it's got 1.5 yards up the middle, close to a first down. They give it to him. Raheem Falcons was the man in motion who came across the formation.
Well, this is get some of these younger players some experience, keep everybody healthy, and get back to T-Town.
Yep, get back home and get ready for Western Kentucky next weekend. Elsewhere, Clemson leads Auburn 13-3. 4:40 remaining in the third. Brian Houseworth will have all the scoreboard updates for you on the postgame. 1st and 10, Alabama. Bateman just handing off the football. B.J. Emmons taken down by Josh Fatu, who is in at defensive end. I'd be shocked if we see any offensive long throws or anything. Just time to let this one go. Alabama up 52-6. You know, you got third stringers in there earlier making big plays. You know, nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, it's just, as I say, an embarrassment of riches when you just start going down the roster, the depth chart. Alabama looks like they're going to be loaded for bear again in 2016.
A high snap by Hassenauer. It is taken down by Cooper Bateman, who covers the football.
The runner was down by rule. Third down.
He covered the ball at the 10-yard line, so there'll be a significant loss. Hassenauer with the high snap goes way up over Bateman, who himself is 6'3", 220. Bama now 6 of 14 in third down conversions, 42% on the night, Filbert. That's pretty darn good.
Well, especially the way things got started.
Yeah, it was 2 of a dozen or something earlier in the night, whatever it was. 3 minutes to go on the ball game. Bama 52-6. Joshua Jacobs in at running back now. Snap. Back at the 4-yard line. Pass out to Green. Brandon gets it. The tight end does. Ridden out of bounds at the 15-yard line. That'll stop the clock. Alabama will go to 1-0 on the year. USC will drop to 0-1. Again, they are home. Southern Cal is at the Memorial Coliseum in L.A. next week against Utah State. Bama home against Western Kentucky. 2:30 next Saturday at Bryant-Denny. On a 4th down and 13. Alabama set to punt it away. J.K. Scott boots it. Taken by Southern Cal. Deontay Burnett runs up the left side across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. It'll be a 51-yard punt by J.K. Scott.
Eli, while we had a minute, I wanted to mention Alex Mortenson's on the Alabama coaching staff. And, of course, his father, Chris Mortensen, recovering from stage 4 throat cancer. I'm told he was in attendance tonight. So Mort had made an announcement earlier this week that he would be returning on a part-time basis for ESPN. So I just want to wish them the best. And, of course, this journey started for them at Arizona when we were out there for the national championship.
Exactly.
That's when they found this news out.
And now here comes a handoff for Southern Cal. It'll be Dominic Davis who will go to the right side. Chris Stewart, it was nice to hear Mort, because he didn't look all that strong at the ESPY Awards, but to hear the fact that he is now almost totally clear of cancer was a wonderful gift to all of us the other day.
Yeah, I saw him in the team hotel tonight, guys, and I'll get back on that after this play.
Here now, after a 3-yard gain, here's a 2nd down and 7. Again, the throw left side, Dominic Davis. He'll dance around across the 45 of Alabama. It'll still be short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down and about a yard. Chris?
Yeah, and had a nice chance to visit with him. I actually saw him in Canton. He was honored by the NFL and received an award for broadcasting and journalism, the same ceremony where Kenny Stabler was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he told me tonight, he said, I got a long road to go, but I'm feeling good and excited about the future.
Well, that's wonderful news. It really is. 1:09 to go on the ball game. More wonderful news. Bama's leading 52-6. Handoff, enough for a 1st down. Again, Dominic Davis. He's another speedster. He's a sprinter for the USC track team. Of course, it's tough to sprint when you got Dakota Ball hanging onto your ankles, but
it's hard to sprint when you have that crimson wall in front of the starting blocks. But Eli, the clock runs now dripping under a minute, and we're underway. We're off the tee box here.
Yes, sir.
Game 1
yes,
for
sir.
Alabama's 2016 season.
Here's Darnold, fakes the give and keeps it himself. He'll rumble for close to a 1st down, and Alabama starts with, if not a birdie, then potentially an eagle. The Tide takes this one 52-6. To say it was a convincing win, obviously, is an understatement. It started off slowly, but it certainly went big from there. The coaches meet at midfield. They have a quick word, one with the other. We'll hear from Coach Saban a bit later on. A big win for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Both teams shaking hands at midfield. No animosities. They rarely see each other. It's not a rivalry, just a great intersectional matchup. And that's what you like to see. A nice bunch of guys getting together. How about Jalen Hurts, Phil?
Well, Jalen Hurts made a spectacular debut after a very inauspicious start. Fumbled his first snap, lost the football, then came back to post 2 touchdowns rushing, 2 touchdowns passing, and I think probably took hold of this quarterback job. I would be very surprised if he's not your starter against WKU next Saturday afternoon.
So Bama wins it 52-6. We invite you now to stay tuned. The Regions Bank 5th quarter show, the Hyundai Locker Room Report, and all of our post-game awards following these messages. Don't forget as well, a complete scoreboard update from Brian Houseworth coming your way shortly here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.